أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah Jalla wa Ala has created us in this world for a purpose. He did not create us for no reason. He did not create us and place us on this earth in order to just amuse ourselves and others around us. Allah Jalla wa Ala said, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Now we have indeed created mankind in the most beautiful form. Though we are physically created in a beautiful form, He also told us that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. But He has also not created the jinn or the mankind except that they worship. So though we are created in the most perfect proportion, best form, we've also been created in order to worship Allah Jalla wa Ala. When we were first, in the bellies of our mother, before we came out into the beings that we are, into this human being able to walk and speak and talk, etc., 50,000 years before we were placed in the womb of our mother, everything was written for us. It was prescribed for us whether we are going to be happy or miserable. How much risk, sustenance we're going to have was already written down as well. How we're going to die, when we're going to die, was also written down. Written, and the pen was lifted, the ink was dried. The time of death, when it comes, we must have firm iman and belief that this was the appointed time. We could not have brought it any closer or delayed it for a minute or two. And the method of death, however it's going to be, through illness, car crash, or husn al-khatam, fighting jihad fi sabilillah and dying there, or whilst doing a good deed in prostration, whatever and however our last breath is on this earth, that is also written for us. But very seldom do you find Muslims asking Allah Jalla wa Ala to give them good health and good physique and strength so they may worship Him. Rather we ask these things for the purpose of the dunya, for our needs of wealth and status and power and homes, etc. Seldom do you see Muslims asking Allah Jalla wa Ala to give me a long life, O Allah, so that I may worship You more and attain more deeds. Rather we find Muslims asking for a long life so they can enjoy their children, their women, their houses, and what Allah has created. Seldom do we find Muslims asking Allah, oh Allah, give me rizq, give me sustenance, such that I may give charity with my wealth, such that I may establish Your religion with the wealth You give me. Seldom do we find this. So though He has created us in a perfect form and created us to worship Him in this whole cone, in this universe, we find ourselves worshipping the dunya and not worshipping Allah. We find ourselves, unfortunately, taking care of our physiques, the way we look, the makeup, the dress, and this and that, etc., more than we do take care of the very purpose that we are on this earth. But my message today, my brothers, is that we are going to die one day. And there is no doubt and there is no escape from death. Allah Jalla wa Ala has told us in the Quran, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. Now verily they see this as something far away, but we see it as something very near. What is Allah Jalla wa Ala talking about here? He's talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. But which Yawm al-Qiyamah? The Day of Judgment. He's referring specifically here to your personal last hour on this earth. That's your Day of Judgment. My personal hour on this earth, my last few breaths in this world. He's saying that verily they see it as something far away. It's not going to come. That last hour is not going to come. It's far away. And this is how we live our lives. Do you pray 5 times a day? Do we busy to learn the halal and the haram so we can stay away from the haram and make all our source of income and our lives halal? No, because when we get older, we'll do it then. When I finish my degree, I'll do it then. When I finish my GCSEs, I'll do it then. Or when I get a job, then I'll do it then. Or when I get married, then I'll do it then. Many sisters are like this as well. When I get married, then I'll wear hijab. Then I'll stay at home. Then I'll cook and I'll clean it. But right now, I'm going to enjoy my life. But do they think that they cannot be snatched and taken away back to Allah at any time, at any age, at any moment? إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا. But why they see this time as far away. How many times have we heard many youth or young men saying, yes, I will do Hajj, but when I'm 60. And I'll repent for all my sins. And I'll live a righteous life. But how many of them are guaranteed to live to that age? They see it ba'eed, far away, this time will come. But Allah says, وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. And we see it as something very near. And how true is the word of Allah? Well, you yourselves, just reflect on the last 5 years. How quick that time has gone. How fast each years go by. How quick we reach the following Ramadan. As time goes on, days are becoming shorter. Years are going past quicker. And this in and of itself is a sign from the signs of the Day of Judgment. And many of us, my brothers and sisters in Islam, as much as we believe in our aqidah, in our faith, that we are going to die, we're going to meet Allah, we're going to face Him Yawm al-Qiyamah. We believe this with our lip service, perhaps in our minds, but is it truly embedded in your hearts? Do you truly believe this? Because if we did believe this, we would not flee from death. We would not flee from death to such a degree that it causes us to venture into the haram. I have to save myself from death, and so I'm going to do this haram, that haram. Brother, what do you say? Allah Jalla wa Ala said in the Quran, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ ثُمَّ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ عَالِمِ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Say that death which you are fleeing from, it will come to you. That death which you are fleeing from, it will come to you. And then when it comes to you, you will then be returned to the one who knows all and is aware of everything. And then He will tell you of all the things that you used to do. So my brothers, this ayah was revealed to the Bani Israel because they hated death. They were afraid of death. They loved their dunya so much that if they were called to defend Medina, because when Muhammad arrived in Medina, what did he do? He made pacts with the Jewish tribes and other tribes. And from the pact was that they would all collectively, defend Medina against any aggressors. So when the Quraysh were coming, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to them and said, come on then, keep up to your oath now, your pact. And they flee. Why should we go there and get killed? So Allah revealed the ayah saying that this death which you're fleeing from, it will come to you. There's no escape. And then you'll be returned to Allah and you will be questioned about what you used to do. So we Muslims, we must not be like this. When we're called to carry out an action or do something in Islam, we should not be afraid of death when that comes in front of us. But these Yahud, and I'm saying this is because I feel that we have some of their traits as well. These Yahud in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, وَقَالُوا لَمْ تَمَسَّنَا إِلَّا أَيَّامًا قَلِيلًا, that verily this fire that you're talking about, O Muhammad, this punishment in the hellfire you're speaking of, it will not touch us except for a few days, a few numbered days. And Allah replied back to them, saying that if you are true, then ask for death. Ask for death if you are true. If it's just going to touch you for a few days. Ask for death if you are true. Have you got an oath, an agreement that you can show us between you and Allah? Or are you honestly making a lie? Or are you really making a lie against Allah? And this is how some of us Muslims have conducted our lives. We indulge in haram. We don't care because we think if we go in the hellfire, we're Muslims anyway. So we'll pass through the hellfire and we'll go to paradise. Though this is true in its foundation. But who wants to go to the hellfire for just 1 minute? For 1 day? For 1 week? And this principle, this foundation is only for those Muslims who die upon Tawheed. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Not making any shirk with him. Not associating any partners with him. And that also discludes those people, those Muslims who worship the dunya. They're making partners with Allah. So they're excluded now. You worship the dunya, you're not worshipping Allah. You're given a partner with Allah. You worship Allah and you worship in this dunya at the same time. This is shirk. And you're excluded from this. But then, as I was trying to give an example, that who would want to go in the hellfire for just a day? 30 seconds. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the most lightest of punishments in the hellfire, most lightest of punishments in the hellfire is a man whose feet will be in the fire, just his feet will be burning, but it causes his brain to boil. Have you seen water boiling on a pot? This is how the brain will boil while the fire in the feet is burning. Which one of us will be content with that? Which one of us would want anything near that? We can't even put our finger on a cooker. We're near a fire here. If this brain is too hot, we flee. Yet we live our lives like, well, we're going to go to hellfire and we're going to go to the paradise eventually anyway. We'll be purified for our sins. We must take this idea out of our minds completely. And we must be concerning ourselves with Jannah al-Firdaus, the highest place of Al-Jannah. And carrying out all those actions which will lead us there. This is what we should be aiming for. Aim high, you'll get slightly less. Aim low, you'll get less than that low. You may even end up as a munafiq in the bottom of the fire, in the pit. May Allah save us all from that. Allah Jalla wa Ala, He said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد. Oh, you who believe. He's addressing the people who have faith, who have iman. All of you in this room, inshallah, all of us have iman. He's saying, oh, you who believe, fear Allah and let each soul look to what He has sent forth for the morrow. Let each soul look into himself to see what he has sent ahead of him to the hereafter, to the life after death. Has he sent good deeds to meet him there? Or has he sent bad deeds to meet him there? How much sadaqah, how much knowledge, how much kindness, how much good deeds have we done? How much prayers, fasting, reading Quran, ibadah of different types? How much? Thing is, we have not, as Muslims, looked into ourselves, not asked ourselves these questions. The type of questions we busy ourselves asking is, what's the next car I'm going to get? Or what's the next push bike I'm going to get? What toys am I going to buy? What am I going to... We ask ourselves about our future. We're going to get a degree and And how am I going to get a job after I get a degree? This is what our soul is being fed. But as Muslims, we cannot allow that to overwhelm our thinking and our minds. Of course, there has to be some planning of the dunya in our lives. Nobody is denying this. But when we make that the apple of our eye, our main focus, and we've given Allah and the hereafter, the life after death, a small portion of our time, of our minds, of our hearts, of our feelings, then we become imbalanced. Your view of the world becomes imbalanced, your view of Islam becomes imbalanced. And it's tipping the wrong way. It's tipping to the side of the dunya and not to the side of the deen. The danger is also on the other side as well. If we think and too much overindulge ourselves in the akhirah, then we may go to extremes within the religion, that we neglect the people's rights in the dunya. And this is why Allah Jalla said, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, that we have made you all as a balanced nation, a middle nation, not going to extreme or neglect. So this is how we have to view our lives. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم أما بعد. So Allah Jalla wa Ala, He has said to us, and whilst He created us in this life to worship Him, as I mentioned earlier, He also said in another ayah in Surah Baqarah, وَجَعَلْنَا لَكُمْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا, that we have created for you everything that is in this world. What that means is we are created to enjoy what Allah has placed in this world around us in a halal manner and not in a haram manner, in those things which are halal and not those things which are haram. But then along with that, Allah Jalla wa Ala told us that He will test us and He will try us whilst we are alive. Because worship is one thing, but living our lives and overcoming tests and trials, this is another aspect of our lives as Muslims. Allah Jalla wa Ala said, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah has created life and He's created death to test you all, to see which of you are best in actions. So as we tread the path of our lives, our daily lives, we will come across times when people around us will die. And people around us will be born. Some are born, some die. There is a reason for this. And there are some living around us, our own ages. All this in and of itself is a test and a trial for us Muslims. Why? When somebody dies, Allah wants to see, are you going to reflect? Are you going to change your life? Are you going to become a better Muslim? Are you going to worship Allah better? Are you going to become more conscious of your Creator and the obligations which He's obliged you to do? Are you going to become more conscious over the matters that are prohibited so you can stay away from them? These are the things which Allah is looking for from the tests when He causes people to die around us. And life, when He gives life to others, He wants us to see if we're going to be grateful for our own life. How much gratitude do you show for being alive, having your eyes, your ears, you're able to breathe, your lungs, the health. These are tests, my brothers. These are tests, and we should not belittle or ignore such things. Allah Jalla wa Ala has said that He's created humans on this earth. From amongst them are those who are grateful creatures. They thank Allah, they show gratefulness for what Allah has given them. And from amongst them are those who disbelieve. He used the word kafar. Those who disbelieve, but here it means who cover up the blessings that Allah has given them. Who cover up the blessings which Allah Jalla wa Ala has given them. They cover it up, they deny it. Or if they don't deny this, cover up, they forget it. They're not concerned about what Allah has given them, all these blessings. But we as Muslims should not be like that. But many of us are. And I'm going to give you very quickly some examples. When was the last time, my brothers, that we have showed gratitude, gratefulness for the eyes that Allah has given us, for the wealth He's bestowed upon us, for the roof which He provided over our heads? When did we show gratefulness for the children He's blessed us with, for the health He's given us and our children and our parents? When did we show gratefulness for having our parents alive so we may serve them? When and how much gratefulness have we shown for the car we drive, for the clothes on our back, for the ability to be all our body parts working and functioning well? The ungrateful one is the one who does not show thanks for these blessings. And the way to be grateful, to be grateful in these many blessings which I've just mentioned a few of now, is by using those blessings in the way of Allah. You have a house, a roof over your head, pray in the house, read the Quran in the house. This is how you show your appreciation for the roof over your head. Show to somebody else who needs a home, maybe one night he's traveling, needs help. How do you show gratitude and gratefulness for the car you drive? Is by giving somebody a lift to the masjid. Use the car to go to the masjid. Use the car for charitable purposes. This is how you show thankfulness and gratitude for what you've been given of a car. Your health and your physique. Some of us like to go to the gym and work out. Push many kilos and be strong and show our muscles off. But with little gratefulness do we show for what Allah has given us of health and strength. We don't use our health and strength in the way of Allah. But there's so much to do. So much need. Maybe the masjid needs some painting, decorating, moving rubble and things like that. Allah's given me a body. He's given me strength. Let me use this for Him and show gratefulness for what He has given me. You get this intention and you carry this work out. How do you show gratefulness to Allah for having children? He's blessed you with children with good health. How do you show gratefulness for this? You teach them Quran, you teach them ibadah, how to pray, how to make wudu, fasting. You raise them as Muslim children. That's how you show gratitude. Gratitude, gratefulness for what the blessings that Allah has given you in this life is not shown by committing sins in the house which He's given you. By teaching your children to do sins and do bad things, and He's blessed them with you. He's blessed you with your sight and you use your eyes for haram. He blessed you with your hands and you strike and harm and dhulm on other people. He blessed you with a tongue to speak with and you use it to oppress people and harm people. This is not the way we show gratitude. And if we don't show gratitude, my brothers, then Allah Jalla wa Ala is Ghani al-Hamid. He's Ghani. He is free from the need of gratitude anyway. He owns everything. To Him belongs the dominion of everything on this earth. And everything submits to Him. If we thank Allah and we are grateful to Allah, then we're doing this for our own selves. وَلَئِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ فَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you become grateful slaves, then I will give you more. وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ فَإِنَّ عَذَابِي شَدِيدٌ. And if you cover up the blessings that I gave you, if you just deny them, then indeed my punishment is severe. My brothers, we ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to give us a tawfiq to understand the many blessings, the many blessings He's given us. Living in this country, how we are in our homes, the wealth and everything. There are people in Syria that are suffering. 6 million Muslims displaced, refugees. No homes, no shops, no supermarkets, no schools, no playgrounds, no parks, no clothes on their back, living in tents in the cold, in the winter, with no blankets, no sleeping bags, no medicine when they get the coughs and colds and flus, no doctors to treat them. Yet we're sitting here in Na'im, in great ease. And Allah hasn't chose us to be like them. And He hasn't chose them to be like us. There is a reason for this. Yes. Jazakallah khair. It is because He's testing both of us. He's testing them with that hardship, and He's testing everyone in this room to see what are you going to do to help them. Are you going to show gratitude for the things you have and then help the brethren? And if you want to pass this test, come and see the brothers here, the Mu'in here in the masjid and Juma'ah, the brothers. They'll show you how you can show gratitude and help to them brothers. We're collecting money, we're going to buy blankets, we're going to go buy food and deliver to the refugee camps there. So whoever wants to aid us in this, then Bismillah. May Allah aid you inshallah in this life and the next. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين وأقيموا الصلاة.